Alright, I have restarted this video over and over again. I just gotta let it flow. So my name is Mariah, for those of you who don't know me. I am a professional dancer in Houston, Texas. I'm also a dance teacher. I've been teaching dance for 3 years, but as far as teaching in the studio, more so 6 years. And I've been a teacher for about 7 years. So recently I quit a job, and before I go forward, God got me together, y'all, because the energy that I was going to come in with this video was totally different energy that I'm coming in with it now. I decided to, shortly after posting my last video, I decided to go on a fast, because I've been feeling God has been calling me to do that, but I've been very disobedient, which is so crazy because that's what the sermon was about on Sunday. I visited Blueprint Church. But I felt like the only word that God was giving me after I quit my job, and even before, was to fast. So while I'm on this fast, got so many things that's happened since the last video, including I got a new job. Okay, but we'll get there. We gotta go back. We gotta go back. In the middle of my fast, one of the questions, and I was doing this with my homegirl. I was on the phone with her. And one of the questions was, am I truly doing good in my daily life? And at first, I was like, yeah, I'm doing good. And it's like Holy Spirit smacked me. And I don't know about you, but you can share. Like, I've been kind of learning what it is to hear from God. And, wondering what the voice is like, but as I'm growing in my word, I'm realizing it can come as a whisper. And that's what happened with this. I was sitting here and I'm like, yeah, I'm doing good. And then it just smacked me. It was like, have you forgiven those people that have a hand in the reason why you left your job? And he's like, if you're going to be talking to my people, you can't be coming in there with that kind of energy, that kind of hate in your heart. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm just trying to read my word, God. Like, you don't have to come after me like that. And I told my homegirl, like, because she had to call me back because she was looking at the application questions first for herself before she called me, and we went over it together. And I was like, girl, God told me that I need to forgive. So with that being said, this video has a little bit different energy. Now, do I still want to give the details of how I left? Yes, but the energy is totally different now. I'll start with saying, God told me to quit 3 times. 3 times. And me and my best friend, we used to have this like rule of 3. Like, if something happens 3 times, or say I'm trying to be on the way somewhere and I get detoured and then something else happens, it's like, maybe I shouldn't be going there. Or it can just apply to different things. So let's go back. So I'm going to try to put this in. I'm going to make it real simple. It's not going to be too much details because there's things that everyone may not know about, but I want to make it at least understood, as far as, because my students are watching. Hi, students. I love you. Leave me some comments. I know my students are tuning in, so I want to make sure it's to where you can understand. So last year, I went to this convention called Texas Dance Educators Association Convention. It's a convention that happens yearly at the Marriott Hotel, and it's all the dance teachers in Texas meet up to take classes. You can take dance classes, you can take lecture classes, you just choose based off of your needs. It's a professional development, pretty much, a huge professional development for only dance teachers, right? So I went to this thing last year, and this same school that I left paid for it. So I'm like, oh, cool. In my head, I'm already thinking when next year comes around, I'm going again. So summertime comes, it's time to go back, next year come. Mind you, we had a different principal. So from when I got it approved and got it paid for, we had a different principal. So now moving into this next year, we have a new principal. So I already put in my time. At the beginning of the year, we're putting in time and stuff. We're at these professional developments. I'm like, okay, I know I want to go to TDEA again this year. So I put that time in. They had already approved it. It's not until January, right? So January of this year. So as we get closer, I end up emailing and asking about them to pay for it or whatever. And that a specific deadline was approaching in order for me to attend the luncheon. So they said that they weren't going to be able to pay for it this year. And I'm like, why? I didn't say why, but I'm just thinking like, come on, why aren't we able to pay for it this year? So I sent a message asking, like at first I was like, okay, I understand. But then I asked it because closed mouths don't get fed. I told them about my current situation because at the time I wasn't doing too well financially. By the way, I'm a single mother with a daughter that's 3 years old. So I was like, is there any way that y'all can find some kind of money to pay for it? And then they end up having a meeting with me, the principal, and someone else, the person that handles the finances. And they told me that they weren't going to be able to pay for it. So I'm like, okay, cool. So this is I want to say maybe this is in November. So then, they told me that it would need to come from the dance budget. That's super important. They told me that they wouldn't be able to pay for it and that it would need to come to the dance budget. I'm like, okay, cool. I wish I knew this because we already exhausted the funds for the dance budget. So I'm like, okay. So then fast forward, we end up raising about a $1,000 at an after school event that was super fun. So cool, we have $1,000, blah blah blah. But still in my mind, I'm like, I don't want to have to use the money to go because I want all the money that we're earning to go straight to my kids. So from November to, in December, I was talking to my close friends and my colleagues, and I'm like, should I go or whatever? And they told me, you going to TDEA is training for you to help your kids, which is true. Like, then you should never arrive anywhere. You should always be, in whatever field you're in, you should always be training. You should always be trying to learn something new. And so that's the truth. Like, I love professional development, and that's just who I am as a person. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go. So we return from the Christmas break. The first day we have a professional development on campus, and I let them know, hey, I decided I'm going to go. I want to go ahead and get the credit card. Mind you, I have no access to no money. I cannot touch anything. All of the money is at the front office. All of it's been turned in through money orders. All of that. So, because I'm trying to keep my timeline here. All of that money is in the front office. So I say, hey, I decided I'm going to go ahead and go. And they're like, okay, cool. And I send a message to both the person that handles the credit card for the school and the person that handles finances that, hey, I decided I'm going to go to TDEA. Do I come and get the credit card? Something along those lines. I have all my receipts. All right. If it ever comes down to something where I have to prove myself, I have my receipts. But where I'm at right now, I feel like God doesn't want me to focus on that, but that He does want me to share my story, which is really mainly the fact that what I'm going to tell you about God telling me to quit. So get the credit card. I'm in the same room as the principal and the person that handles the credit card. I got the TDA website open, and I'm like, okay, cool. I'm putting in the information. I submit it. We're done. I'm like, all right, whatever, I'm going. So that same week was the convention. So the rest of the week, I'm like, cool, peace out. I'm going to the convention. Cool. So I go to the convention. It's amazing. I take classes for jazz because that's the unit that we were moving into. I took classes for anxiety because I deal with anxiety and my students deal with anxiety. So I wanted to know how I could help us and merge dance with helping, because I care about mental health. So that's something that I'm really big on. So I took a lot of those classes. So I'm pumped. I'm ready to return to school. And on that Friday, on the last day of the convention, I get an email that has the principal, the person who I talked to about the finances, and someone from HR. And usually, because God be Godding, I never really check the contents of who's all in the meeting. But something told me, hey, look in the meeting and see who's all in there. And so when I clicked it, I saw that it was someone from HR, and I'm like, ooh, hold on. Hold on. Like, why is someone from HR in the meeting? So I messaged and I say, hey, what is this? No, first I asked could it be rescheduled, because I was pumping ready to teach. I didn't want to come back on a Monday straight from the convention to have to go into a meeting and then teach my kids. I just wanted to be ready and start teaching them from that. So like, okay, could it be rescheduled? She said no, it has to happen on Monday. So I'm like, this is serious. So then I messaged back. I'm like, what does this have to deal with? Like, what is this meeting about? And she said communication with kids. Communication with kids. My kids know, and they will tell you. My kids, well, yeah. Now. No, before. Now that I'm not at the job anymore, I'll repost whatever my kids say to me, blah, blah, blah. But as I'm working, the kids know that I don't talk to them on social media. They know that I don't follow them back. And I don't message them or whatever, because I'm not trying to get into no stuff, even though I know where my heart is, and you know that there's no ill will or anything, but just we live in a weird world, unfortunately. So, and there's been things that has happened at these schools. So yeah. So I'm like, what could it be about? Also, I'll have to tell you, my birthday was January 5th. So my birthday was on the Christmas break. So fast forward to Monday, I'm walking in, and it's the principal, the person that handles the finances, and my brain not even braining. Oh, HR on the laptop on a Teams call. So I'm like, ooh, okay. So the first thing they said was communication with students on social media. And I'm like, I'm not sure what you could be referring to. Come to find out, because, and this is why I feel like it's calculated, somebody wanted me out, because in this meeting they hit me with 3 things. This has never happened. I've worked for this school for 3 years, and let me paint the picture. I've been working at this school for 3 years, no AC, and at some point we had AC for a little bit. I'm behind the stage with the curtain closed while 2 other gym classes are happening at the same time. So I'm teaching dance, there's music pumping, and then there's music pumping from 2 other gym classes, 2 other teachers that's happening at the same time. And if you've been working for these kinds of schools, you already know what's up. There needs to be more respect for electives, and that's what I continue to advocate for. But I just have to trust God, because I plan on staying at this school. Like, I had big dreams. I wanted to continue to build the program. So they didn't have a consistent dance teacher. I was their first consistent dance teacher. I ran the assemblies. More kids started dancing every year with me running the assemblies. Kids that are not even on the dance team. Boys on the basketball team that were saying that if you started an all-boys dance team, I would dance. I'm very confident in the things that I've done at that school, because I love my students, and I wouldn't be there if it wasn't for those students, because adults are weird. So I just have to paint the picture. So where am I? So come to find out, they tried to get me because I reposted my kids telling me happy birthday. Because I couldn't respond to them, I wanted to repost it as a way of just saying, like, hey, I acknowledge, I see you. I can't respond, but I see that you're telling me happy birthday. So I'm like, that's a stretch. So I tried to fight it for a little bit, because the policy is that you can't communicate with students. And me, that's not a form of communication. So I'm like, you know what? I'll take that L. If that's what I'm here for, cool. They wrote me up, sign the letter, put it to the side. Okay, we want to talk about the next thing. The next thing was the fact that my dance team was using the band app, which I found out after everything that the band app is actually an approved app that's being used at the other campuses. I'm not going to go back on that, but I found all of this out after the fact, but they tried to get me because we were using Band app. If you don't know what Band app is, look it up. It's an awesome tool. People across the nation use it for your sports teams, cheer teams, dance. It's just amazing. Look it up. So if you have a dance team or something like that and y'all need a way of communicating, do that. But they said that I couldn't use the Band app and that it wasn't an approved app, which I wanted to fight for, but I had to take that L too. But honestly, I found out it wasn't an L I had to take because other campuses are using it as well. Oh Lord. All right, so there's that. So I'm like, okay, cool. This is like, I'm already stressed. I really want to go home because I can't believe I'm getting written up back to back. This is a lot. So when I've never been in the front office, okay? I've never been in trouble. So I'm like, okay. So then they're like, okay, we need to move to the next thing. We're wanting to put you under investigation for misuse of funds, for attending a TDEA convention. So what happened was, apparently this person, I guess, found out that I went to the convention. All right, maybe I could have been set up. Who knows? I don't know. But that I went to the convention and went straight to HR instead of having a conversation to find out that they approved for me to go. They gave me the credit card to go. I can't touch any money without getting the approval. So apparently, come to find out, we all dropped the ball because there's a certain budget. There's a difference between the dance budget and the budget they give for dance for me specifically at the start of the year. Those were two different things. That wasn't made clear to me. But if I read my handbook, it does say that for those particular funds that you can't use towards professional developments. I did not know that, and if I knew that, I wouldn't have went, because you think I'm trying to lose my job. This is somewhere I plan on being, but instead of them having a conversation with me to see who approved for me to go and what happened there, to me personally, to CYA, they chose to send me straight to HR. So I'm like, eventually I'm gonna be honest, there were some tears shed because I felt like my integrity was being questioned. And this is not like I took the money and went on a audition for Beyonce in New York or whatever. This is a professional development for educators for the kids. So I'm just like, where are we getting at here? Luckily though, I had all my receipts. So I had the email, when I told you I sent the message to the to teams regarding that I decided that I'm going to go ahead and go. I had, because what they tried to say was, okay, well, the kids were supposed to be getting uniforms and things like that. Every time I had the phone call too, I have the notes and the person's number who I talked to about getting uniforms. Every time I tried to get uniforms for the kids, and this is also a note of God talking to me. God told me not to get these uniforms. And I just felt like, why? Like, I know it's becoming an issue with them doing it, but like, I'm gonna keep trying. But I heavily felt strongly not to get the uniforms because God was telling me I wasn't gonna be there anymore. But I was just like, so I kept trying to get the uniforms. I called the people. I set up I even know the teacher who I set up and created the uniforms with. But they kept putting obstacles in front of me every time I tried to order my babies their uniforms. It was, oh, you can't accept money from the parents. Okay, now you can't accept cash. Now you can't accept checks. Now in order to receive payments, you have to go through this particular system that we have called Skyward. And I'm just like, it was getting frustrating, but I was still trying. So, so I sent them all of my receipts saying that they approved for me to go. I explained what TDEA is, how I went there last year. So HR wasn't accusing me of anything. They were just trying to get an understanding. But the principal made a point to say, like, when I talked to her later, like, I'm like, there's no human conversation here as we're talking. You're not like, Mariah, I know you care about these kids, but something happened here. What happened? It was just like straight to HR. And I'm like, she made it seem like it was something that she had to do. But I'm like, no, that you didn't have to do that. You could have talked to me first. Because the real thing is, everybody should be fired. Everybody should be fired. Y'all allowed me to go. Y'all gave me the credit card. You were in the same room when I filled it out. You know. But like I said, we're not. It doesn't matter now. Because God used them as a vessel to get me somewhere else. So there's that. So that's the first thing that happened. And I felt strongly God tell me to leave then. I want to say at that point, I did pack my stuff. Was it at that point? Some point, I packed my stuff. I think it's at the next meeting. So fast forward, then we had the Black History Month assembly. The counselor at the school asked me to, because I'm always bringing people in, asked me if I could bring in a choreographer. And I brought in my homegirl who we had also paid that previous year so that she could, she did the summer dance camp. And then this year I had her come and choreograph for my dance team for the Black History Month assembly. So the counselor approved it. I gave them a person, and then it went back to that same person that handles finances. So they ended up wanting her to fill out a vendor packet, and she didn't have to do that last year. And this vendor packet had a lot of requirements. And so my homegirl was like, well, you know what? Both me and her were just like, well, why are you having to do all of this when you didn't have to do this last year? And I put in the email, like, it seems like things keep changing. Like this year is like things are keep changing based off of whatever y'all have going on at this front office. It's affecting me. So then when I sent that message, the financial person wanted to have a informal conversation. And in that conversation, she told me that, you put in the email that things are constantly changing, but I want to let you know, like, I had been pulling strings for you. No, don't pull strings for me. If you know it's going to come back on me, you shouldn't be pulling any strings. I don't want you to pull strings for me. I want to do things right. So now I'm not in this position. So, we had that conversation, and then because they didn't want to pay her. I'm sorry. I'm like, I missed they didn't want to pay her now. And they wanted her to take those other steps. So I'm like, okay, why don't we just pay her the same way we paid her before, which is through the dance budget? And she's like, okay, cool. So, what happened? So we decided on that. I'm like, cool, she's going to get paid the same way she got paid before. A couple of days pass, and she turns back around and emails me and says, hey, I kind of overpromised. We're not going to be able to pay her through that because it's earmarked that your dance funds are only for uniforms and competitions. First of all, what is earmarked? Because that's unreliable. And second, that's not true. Once again, I have my receipts of when I met with my parents where it said the things that they would be getting paid for. I mean, that our fundraiser would be paid for. Also, the money, this extra money that we raised was completely separate from their uniform money. Their uniform money had not been touched. Like, it was still waiting there because I was having to go through all of these processes to be able to get their uniforms. So their fundraiser that we did to get their uniforms to help offset the cost for their parents, that hadn't been touched. We're referring to this other money that we had raised when we did the festival. So what are we talking about? You can't pay the choreographer that y'all already approved because it's earmarked that the money that we raised is only for competitions and uniforms. And if you're a dance teacher or any in the arts, you know that funds that are raised are used for so many different things. Competition, uniforms, backpacks, guest teachers, conventions. So I'm just like, at this point, y'all don't want me here. Y'all don't want me here. Y'all trying to get me frustrated and get me out. So then I decided to just back away At first, I was just going to back away. That is the time where I felt like I should quit. I'm like, y'all don't want to pay her. I feel like I'm reaching a glass ceiling. There still haven't been like, we want to make sure you get the things you need, Mariah. Like, there hasn't been no human talk. It's just like, I'm being constantly pushed to like, get out of there. So I decided to back away. I'm like, this is getting frustrating. Like, every time I'm trying to do something for these kids, advocate for these kids, is becoming like a problem. And so I decided to scratch doing the dance team, to make a stance. I'm like, we're not going to do, because we got that choreography that they didn't want to pay her for, got accepted into the senior signing day. And the senior signing day is when thousands of students are announcing what school they decided to go to. And so we were going to perform that same choreography there. You're not about to put my homegirl's choreography on the stage and you didn't pay her. That's not happening. So decided to back away. And then so they wanted to have a meeting about it. Like, I ended up meeting with my dance team. We shed tears. But I told them I had to take a stance because I felt like I wasn't being appreciated. And luckily, I love y'all. Luckily, they were understanding about it. They were hurt. But yeah. So at the day that I decided to let the dance team go, the after school coordinator came by, because she saw that there was a lot of tears. She came by and saw that, we were crying. I had took a walk because two of my coworkers were there to support me in having this talk. One coworker stayed with my kids. Like, once I finished talking with them and everybody like kind of went off to go cry and come back, I had just took a small walk around because my coworker was like, do you want to go for a walk? Because I had been crying. And so go on the walk. And as we go on the walk, we see the after school coordinator walking to go tell the principal what happened. And I'm like, oh Lord, whatever. So, because I wanted to talk to my kids first before anybody else was able to get to my kids. So what happened? So then we hold a meeting. So this is the day that I quit. So we hold a meeting, and I'm still like, man, I should be. I had packed my stuff, and I was like, God is telling me that I should leave. And if you know me, I'm a very loyal person. I'm gonna stay until the wheels fall off. But this felt like God was really like, I'm not playing with you. I don't want you to be here. Like, it's time for you to go somewhere else. But I was just still trying to like take a stance and thinking everything's gonna turn around and they're gonna realize, what can we do without you? You've done so much at our school and whatever. And that was not the case. So the February 28th gets here. February 28th is the day that we had our Black History Month vendor day, where there's vendors that come and sell, different Black vendors that come and sell different things. Keep that in your mind. So that morning, I ended up having the meeting with them regarding them not wanting to pay the choreographer and me scratching, like not doing the dance team. And like I said, I'm working on forgiveness. I have that whole conversation recorded, but it's neither here or there. So, but you could just tell that there's no concern about me. There's no concern about me. They don't care about paying the choreographer. They said that the kids were still going to go to senior signing day, and I told them, y'all cannot go to senior signing day. I would love for the kids to still go to senior signing day, but they can't go with that choreography when you didn't even pay the choreographer. And that's a whole nother story. So, okay, I'm back. So we're kind of going back and forth because I'm just like, I don't understand. I have all the proof of everything that I'm telling you. You paid this same girl before, the same way. Why are we having to do things differently? And why is this such a problem? Anyway, we got nowhere. So I'm like, okay, I leave, and I feel strongly. I'm not feeling emotional. God is telling me, he was telling me to quit. And I went for a walk around the building because I had first period off. I went for a walk around the building, and I put on some worship music. And I just was like, God, we quitting? Is that what we're doing? Because I'm telling you, I didn't want to quit. I thought I was going to be at this school and turn everything around and really make sure every building had everything it need as far as the facilities and stuff for dance. Like, I saw so much for what I was going to be doing at that school. And now, I'm feeling like a little emotional. But anyway, so I'm just like, I know that this word isn't coming from me because I'm scared. Like, I'm sitting there talking to God as I'm playing the music. I'm like, what about Santi? I have a 3. Like, what about Santi? What about, like, what about medical? Like, I see my therapist, like, how am I going to pay my therapist? I'm like, I don't want to, like, we doing this? But it just felt peaceful at the same time, if that makes sense. Like, I was scared, but it was like, we're quitting. Like, do you see that they don't appreciate you? Like, how can you do anything here when the person that run the school don't even have your back? Like, so I'm just like, so I go to my coworker who I love dearly, and I go to her and I'm like, I think I need you to help me pack my stuff during lunch. And she's like, whoa, wait, friend. And this is also another thing. If God tells you something, your friends love you and they care about you and they have your best interests. But when he gives you a word, sometimes sometimes you just gotta go with the word. And I'm gonna prove to you why. So I'm holding her, I grab her hand and I say, no, like, I'm for real. Like, I think I need to quit. And she's like, and I was like, I'm fine. I'm not upset. I mean, like, I'm upset, but not like this decision is being based off of my emotions. So she was like, friend, can we just wait till why can't we give it to the end of the day? And I said, okay. So all right, I'll give it to the end of the day. Guess what happens at the end of the day? So remember when I told you that there was a vendor market happening where the vendors are outside? So this happens during each of their lunches. So it's not enough time for them to get to order their food and everything and get back into class on time. Like, a lot of those kids are having to wait in the line. So I figured I would have kids come into my class late. So second period was fine. All of my kids came on time and I took them back outside because I know I was the person who got my food first. Ordered my food first, and my food didn't come until the end of lunchtime. So I was like, I believe in fairness. I don't want these kids to enjoy themselves. We had already finished our projects. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna take my kids outside today. So took my second period out, and then we hung outside. They got to finish their food. We came back in. We chilled. Next period came. This was my high schoolers. Hi, my babies. They're gonna be so mad. Don't y'all go into the school being crazy. We're past this. Miss Lavela's gonna make go somewhere to where y'all can still take class from me and things like that. We're not worried about this school. So don't y'all, after you see this video, don't be going back being crazy. So my high schoolers came and I was missing about 3. So to CYA, because everything had been happening to me, I said, because the gym is literally right here and the door is right here, to be able to peek outside and say, hey. So I peeked outside and I was like, I saw an admin. There, and I said, hey, I have 3 kids out here. I just want to make sure everything is that's still out here trying to get their food. She was like, oh no, like, it's fine. The vendors are about to pack up and leave anyway, so we're already sending them back in. So administration was already out there watching all of those kids that were lingering around that hadn't made it to their classes yet. Because there were several students that was out there without their teacher that still was at the market. So I'm like, okay, cool, I'm good. Let me stay with my kids while that's happening. After a while, my kids finally returned. They got their food, they're eating, and then we decide to go, all of us decide to go outside. We go outside. I have my 4th period, we're together, we go outside as well, blah, blah, blah. At 4 o'clock, my homegirl said, wait till the end of the day. At 4 o'clock, I get something on my calendar that says to meet the principal and the head of schools to have a meeting. And I'm like, this is it. Like, this is it. They're either firing me or I'm quitting. So I go, I just go, I'm like, I already know. So I go inside, and she tells me, yeah, there was some safety concerns. Y'all, this is craziness. Anyway, I'm gonna just keep going. There were some safety concerns regarding you leaving your students unattended. When I say I just sat there and looked at her like, it didn't even, I was just like, this is the same day we had the meeting of me advocating for everything, me talking about me leaving the dance team. We had this whole long meeting of whatever going back and forth. So now we end up having another meeting at the end of the day. And so at this end of the day, you know, she tells me that, and she slides me a white piece of paper to give my written statement. And I was like, I was just baffled. I'm like, can you come again? She says, there were some safety concerns. Someone reported that you left your kids unattended. And we're going to go ahead and put you under investigation again. And take my laptop, take my stuff, or whatever. And I was just like, calm. I wrote on there, I said, I did not leave my kids unattended. Signed Mariah, my last name. And I pushed it to her, and they proceeded to tell me they were going to put me under investigation. I looked at the head of schools. I said, do you know who I am? Like, what I've done for the school and how I've been harassed since January? Do you know of anything that's going on this campus? And I said it just like that, very calm. And he said, no, but I said, would you be open to having a conversation about it? And he said, yeah. He was like, of course not at this moment. And I think that's when they told me they were putting me under investigation. Somewhere in there, that's when they told me. And I just looked to the side, and I just said, I got to go with my first mind. I quit. And she said, oh, okay. She said, okay. And I said, I had to quit. Like, this doesn't feel right. Like, I just had to quit. She said, well, and my therapist, everybody that I know had been telling me since January, oh, they're trying to get you out of there. For what reason, I have no idea, and I probably never will. There's been talk about, like, them pushing electives out once they become tenure, like, start to, like they don't want to pay them, or I don't know. Like, I just can't think of why. But shout out to my kids, because they went crazy. They were, I have so many of their screenshots. The parents that miss me and all of that, just telling me how I've helped their kids with their confidence and things like that. And that helped me to just walk in confidence that I know I left my mark there. And I know how much I love those kids. And no one could ever take that away from me. Now, where I dropped the ball, because I do believe in taking accountability, the only place that I dropped the ball is not reading that handbook when it came to attending TDEA with the funds or whatever the case may be. I'll take that. I should have read the handbook so I could cover myself. But everything else. So anyway, that was God saying, oh, you want to wait? I told you 2 instances ago to quit. Your friend says you want to wait. Okay, I love you so much. I'll give you to the end of the day. And I'm going to give you something else to make you leave. Because you're playing with me and I don't want you to be here. I want you to be somewhere else. So whatever that means for you, whatever you feel like God is telling you to do, because guess what? From then, okay? From quitting, I have booked gigs. I'm a personal assistant on my homegirl's project now, so I'm expecting payment in June for that once that's finalized. The way money has been happening, it's been happening just enough, I could just cry, just enough for me to still have, we're not crying, the things that I need to be able to survive. And it's just like, God is like, just trust me. Like, I gave you. And then he's like, and then do you think God is going to give you a word and then leave you hanging? Do you think he's going to give you a word and then not back you up and make sure you're taken care of and making sure you're good? Even if that means I have to leave here and go back home, I have several places that I can go to if it comes down to that. But so far, the way everything is happening is I'm good. And I was it was peaceful. Ever since I left, it's been, I miss my babies. I miss my students. And I'm arranging something so that we could, you know, have a meetup or whatever. But I feel great. And there's been so many great things that happen. And I have an intent to hire at a new place that I don't want to say yet because, of course, I got to check my references and stuff like that. But I feel like it's pretty much mine. But if God says otherwise, I'll be back here giving you an update on that. But this new place that I'm at, I just have to give y'all a whole nother story about that. But pretty much, I'm going to have mirrors, bars, everything that the kids need, AC. They're knocking down 2 classrooms to make 1 big dance room. And I have free reign. And I'm going to be the face. I'm going to be the face of the first school to ever have dance at that level in that district. Like, I had to make this video because I know my makeup looked crazy, but I had to make this video because God is just, ultimately it's not about me. It's about you. It's about God being glorified and delivering people from whatever they need to be delivered from, and or inspiring people to do stuff that they feel that they couldn't do. And so that's why I'm here telling you my story, so that you can get something from it, whatever that is. So, yep, I'm out of there. I didn't expect to be out of there like that, but here we are. But I do want to ask you, what is something that you feel like God is asking you to be obedient in, that you're like, ooh, like, God, I want to do it, but I don't want to do it? Like, what do you feel like God is putting on your heart to do? And what else do I want to know? How do you plan on attacking it? Because we got to talk about moving forward. Like, I don't want you to just share it and then not have a plan. So after watching this video, how do you plan on, or if you're already doing it, right? Maybe God already gave you a word and you already been obedient. Just share whatever you feel on your heart to share in the comments. But pretty sure this is like 45 minutes to an hour. So peace out. Love you.